Okay, geometry, I am on page 599. We're going to try two problems today, 17 and 18. They should look familiar. I think we did these on Tuesday. This should have been your Tuesday video, but they're a little harder, okay? So I want to go very slow here and make sure that we remember what we're doing. First off, they tell us that this line is tangent in the instruction, okay? They say this line is tangent. Our job is to find R. Okay, and R is the radius. See how it's going from the center to the edge of the circle? Okay, so one thing I want to be really clear on, all right, is that even though the radius is going here and there, they're the same, right? They should be the same value, okay? Now, if we remember from Monday, a tangent line is perpendicular where it is touching the point of tangency. Right, this point is the point of tangency. It's a perpendicular, which means it's a right angle. And if you remember from Monday, when we had that, or Tuesday, sorry, when we had this tangent line, we did the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so let's go very carefully here. Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, and this is going to be the hardest part for us. All right, so let's go slow. First off, a is just r, right? So I'm going to say r squared here, plus 4 squared, right? This is 4 squared. And then this is the part I need to be cautious about. I'm going to use a highlighter. This R is only talking about that orange part, okay? Remember, C, in the Pythagorean theorem, C is the entire hypotenuse, which is all the way from here to here. Okay, so what we need to do with the orange and the yellow part is we need to add them, right? Because we want that whole side of the triangle. So I'm going to say this is r plus 2, and I'm going to square it, okay? I'm going to square it. I put r plus 2. That's here and here. R plus 2, the two parts, and we're squaring it because of the formula. Now, who remembers how to square something like this? Well, first off, something squaring is something timesing itself, right? So if we say r plus 2 times itself, it looks like this. All right, now the next question is, how do we square this thing, right? How do we times these two things? All right, so if you remember back from Algebra 1, we do have a method, okay? And that method is called FOIL, right? We practiced that a little bit this year, but foiling, okay, stands for first, outside, inside, last. The first thing here is R and R, right? So the first R and R is R squared. Now the outside numbers is, right, and if this is the middle, okay, the outside numbers would be the thing on the left and the thing on the right. So R times 2 is 2R. Inside, right, again, if this is the middle, the two inside things are 2 and R. So we're going to have another 2R. And then last but not least is the L, which is last. Okay, so the last thing is 2 and 2. 2 times 2 is 4. All right, so this looks scary. It's not, right? Just stay with me. What's 2R plus 2R here? Hopefully, we all came up with 4R. So I'm going to combine like terms. I have R squared here plus 4R plus 4. Right? That's what this gave me when I multiplied that. That's FOIL. And it's equal to R squared plus, what is 4 squared? Do we know what 4 squared is? 16. Okay, so it looks scary. It's not. Look what happens to the R squareds. When we subtract them, they cancel, right? They cancel. All right, so I've got 16 now. All right, 16 equals 4R plus 4. Let's subtract 4 over here. What is 16 minus 4? It's 12. And it equals 4R. Okay, I'm just moving my work up here. We divide by 4, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. Our radius is 3. Okay, which means the whole hypotenuse is 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay? A lot of work there. Let's do another one where we have to FOIL. Okay, we have to FOIL here. So this is 18 in your book. All right. Remember, if something is tangent, this 12 is tangent, and this is the point of tangency, that's the right angle. Okay. So I am now going to say, remember we're using Pythagorean theorem, which is right here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a squared is just r, so I'm going to say r squared plus, now the b is the 12, right? So we're going to say 12 squared. And it's equal to, now this is the part where we have to add the parts, right? Let's look. The hypotenuse is the orange part here added to the yellow part, right? We want both parts for the hypotenuse. All right, so what's r plus 8? Well, it's just r plus 8, right? We can't add those right now, but we can square them, right? And that's what we did here. Now remember, when we square, this is the binomial, right? There's two things here. When we square it, it's really like timesing it, and you can see it's timesing it by itself, right? So I'm going to put 2 r plus 8s here. And this is where we FOIL, right? We're going to FOIL first. So what's the first thing in both of the things? We have an r and an r, both binomials. R times r is r squared. Sorry, you can see that better now. The O stands for outside. Right? So if this is the middle, what's on the far left and the far right? It's an r and an 8. So we've got plus 8r. The I stands for inside. The two inside things are 8 and r. So we have another 8r. And then the L stands for last, right? 8 times 8 is 64. Now let's look at this thing and let's see if we can combine any like terms. What is 8r plus 8r? Well, it's 16r, right? So I have r squared, which comes from there, plus 16r plus 64. And it's equal to this. We have r squared plus, what's 12 squared? 144. All right, so again, we have r squared on both sides here. Right? We have an r squared on both sides. They will cancel when we subtract, right? They will cancel when we subtract. All right, let's go ahead and subtract this 64 over here. I'm going to say minus 64. Okay, that cancels there. And 144 minus 64, I'm going to put my work over here. 144 minus 64 should be 80. Go ahead and check my math on that. And it's equal to, the only thing that's left is that 16r. All right, so we'll divide, and when you divide, I think you can check this in your calculator. 80 divided by 16 should be 5. R is 5 this time. Okay? R is 5 this time. All right, so remember, we have to use the FOIL technique, which is your Algebra 1, right? And we use the right angle, the hypotenuse, for our Pythagorean theorem here. All right, you guys, I anticipate you guys having questions. If not, great. I do want you to try a couple of problems here. Ooh, that's kind of a gross one. Let me see if I have a nice one. There we go. What I want you to do is, let's go to, where is it? Page 599, right, which is right where we're at. I want you to try number 19. You can check your answers in the back of the book, but really, I want you to try using the Pythagorean theorem and using the FOIL technique. Okay, so try 599, number 19. You have questions, please let me know so I can assist you before you take that quiz. Good luck.